I think it's about time to get this Cummins 6BT off of my garage floor and bolt it into the Explorer chassis for good. Before I do that though, I got a big pile of parts that I need to install into this drivetrain, so let's get going. First thing that I want to replace is the oil pan gasket. One, I want to make sure that it's not leaking anywhere. And two, I need to take a look at this oil pan because there's a big dent in the bottom. I want to see if I can pound that out or not. It's a good thing that I decided to do this oil pan gasket because the gasket's pretty torn up on the rear. I got this thing cleaned up for the most part, and now it's time to try and hammer out that dent, see where we can get there. So I was pounding on this thing for about an hour, and then I took a look at my workbench. And it's at least a foot away from the wall, so looks okay on the inside. The outside you can see looks decent there. Obviously it's still all wrinkled, but at least now it's approximately the same shape as stock, so it's got the same volume as stock. This oil pan took a real beating. Not only did it take that huge rock in it or whatever caused that dent in the first place, held up to me beating on it for an hour to put it back into shape. So good job, Cummins, on a nice USA made oil pan. While that thing dries, let's get the rear main seal replaced. That's the dent in the oil pan fixed. That's the oil pan gasket done. That's the rear main seal done. The only places I used gasket maker on the oil pan gasket were where the block meets up with the timing cover on the front and with the seal carrier on the back. Since it changes to a different surface, I just added gasket maker there to make sure that I don't get any leaks there. And other than that, I just put the gasket on dry. Now it's time to do something a little more fun rather than just maintenance stuff. So let's put a clutch on this thing. Clutch is fun because it means I get to run a manual transmission, and that's exciting. So let's get to work on a clutch. Alright, here it is in black. The black doesn't necessarily match the transmission as well, however it does match the engine pretty well. And you're only going to be able to see the engine when you can see this. You won't be able to see the transmission when you can see the bell housing. So it should match the part that you'll actually see with it under the hood a lot better. These bolts aren't long enough. They're not even close. I completely overlooked this. These are the bolts for the flex plate on the automatic transmission, and they are not nearly long enough for a flywheel on a manual transmission, and my new clutch didn't come with new bolts. So I screwed up. I tried to find some new ones locally, nowhere had them locally. Dodge could get them for me, but it would be a little bit, and it was like 120 bucks for 8 bolts. So I'm just gonna have to order some from ARP or something like that. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be waiting on parts and a bunch of other things, so I think I'm gonna end the video here for now. Hopefully I can get the parts that I need in quickly, and thanks for hanging out with me in my garage today. Subscribe and stick around if you want to see the next one, and thank you for watching.